Neil couldn't sleep. The skeletal woman's twisted form and the baby's chilling cries haunted him relentlessly. Every time he closed his eyes, he was back in that washroom, staring into the abyss. He knew he couldn't face this alone, so the next morning, he rushed to Ubby's house, desperate for answers. Ubby opened the door, his usual carefree expression replaced by a guarded look. "Neil, what's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." "I saw something at the coffee shop," Neil blurted out. "In the washroom, a woman, skeletal, terrifying, and a baby crying. Then, you pulled me out. You saved me." His face darkened, and for a moment, Neil saw a flicker of fear in his friend's eyes. "You shouldn't have gone there," Ubby said quietly. Neil stepped closer. "You knew something was wrong, didn't you?" "Knew I'd see him." Ubby sighed and ran a hand through his hair. "There are things in this town, Neil, things better left alone. That man you saw, he's dangerous. And now that you've seen him, he knows you're involved." "Who is he?" Neil demanded. Ubby hesitated, then shook his head. "It's better if you don't know. Trust me on this. Stay home for the next 2 days. Don't come to school, don't go near the coffee shop. Just stay safe." Neil scowled. "And after that?" Ubby's expression softened. "After that, meet a diffier at school. He's a senior, and he'll keep an eye on you. But don't tell him about what you saw. It's safer if he doesn't know." Reluctantly, Neil agreed, though his mind was racing with unanswered questions. 2 days later, Neil returned to school, feeling more anxious than ever. At the gate, he met a diffier, a tall, serious-looking senior. "You're Neil, right?" A diffier said, extending a hand. "Ubby told me to watch out for you." "Don't worry, I've got your back." "Thanks," Neil muttered, though he wasn't sure how much help a diffier could be against whatever was happening. That afternoon, the entire school gathered in the auditorium for the farewell ceremony of the retiring principal. Mr. Senator, the atmosphere was somber but celebratory. Mr. Sen stood on stage, addressing the students with warmth.
"After many wonderful years, it's time for me to step down," he said. "I'm proud to introduce your new principal, Mr. Karen Malhotra."
The room erupted in applause, but Neil froze in his seat. As Mr. Malhotra stepped onto the stage, Neil's heart stopped. It was him, the man from the washroom. Neil's breath quickened, and his hands trembled. Mr. Malhotra's eyes scanned the crowd, briefly locking onto Neil's. His lips curled into a faint, knowing smile. A diffier noticed Neil's reaction and leaned closer. "You okay?" Neil's voice was barely a whisper. "That's him." A diffier frowned. "Who?" Neil swallowed hard. "The man I saw. The one Ubby warned me about." A diffier looked confused. "I thought Ubby just wanted me to keep an eye on you." "What are you talking about?" Before Neil could answer, Mr. Malhotra's voice filled the room. It was smooth, authoritative, but with an undercurrent of something sinister.
"As your new principal, I look forward to working with each of you," he said. "Together, we will make this school better than ever."
Neil couldn't shake the feeling that Mr. Malhotra's words were meant for him alone. Whatever was happening, this was only the beginning. And Neil knew that his last day of normalcy had just ended.